Alright guys, welcome back to the Golden Gift Qualifier number 1. We've got a match point here between Shadowfax and Dobr. So they're locked up at 1-1 in this best of 3. Winner progresses through the next stage. Loser goes home, eliminated from this qualifier. So we've got Shadowfax spawning here. Lower left side of the map. Blue Zeus player. So Greek's pick going for that early dock. His opponent also going for an early dock. So Dobr spawning top side of the map. Red Poseidon player. So he's also Greeks, but we've got a different major god. So access to a different minor god lines at each age. Or potentially the same one. We're likely to see an awful lot of commitment to water here. Our players actually taking water on opposite sides of the map. But there is big potential for them to take the water on both sides. Although in matches not involving Egyptians on this map, if players take lakes on opposite sides, there is a small chance that they'll just actually attack on land. You know, and not really worry about committing to water on the far side. And if they do, it's only once they actually use land to unsettle the water eco on the other side. But, you know, generally, because Egyptian in particular is so boomy that they'll generally go up to docks on both sides, pretty much straight out the gates. You end up seeing a lot more water games. Atlantean too, I think. And realistically, I mean, every civ can sort of feel the pressure to get on the lakes. There's not a huge amount of huntables, and your first one is a mile away from your first town center. So our players, other than the chickens, is a mile away from the first town center. And I don't think there's early berries on this version. Yeah, so I think on different versions of different versions of Anatolia, some of them have berries, some of them have chickens, but there's otherwise no real proper big hunt near your town center. Your closest one's like generally one over here. So generally on one side of your base, and that's pretty much it, other than some berries towards the middle of the map that you're probably not wanting to go for. So, you know, you might see a fairly big dock commitment, really. Back players might even put down docks here just to really minimize that travel time, and it just means that in the event that they do get pushed off the water, or their opponent tries to push them off the water, it's much easier to just out macro them with warship production. But conversely, you can sort of leave yourself exposed to your opponent taking to heroic age and getting access to counter ships. You know, if they can do that, they not only get an advantage against your warships from age 2, you know, they can also use them to siege your docks down. And yeah, the siege and anti-warship ships, they'll just clear through everything else so quickly. They can take out the dock faster. Still fight. Obviously, anything can fight the fishing boats because they don't attack back. So holding water is a bit of an imperative. Both sides are now taking both lakes. Temple pretty aggressively placed by Shadowfax here, so he's potentially going to be using it to harass the dock from on the land. Dobr building his temple back at home. A safe decision. That's going to mean a little bit less travel time getting to, you know, one side at least. So we've got 2 docks aside for Dobr. Well, Shadowfax has only got 1 on the top side, but 2 on the lower side. Mostly got his fishing on the top side too. Like to see who really goes for a huge commitment to warships here. So Athena for Shadowfax, a little bit slow considering Dobr. Where he is, Hermes, 2/3 finished now. conversely, he might actually have one more villager on the land and might even have more fishing boats here. 8, 9.
Πρόσταγμα.
So we got that 4,
Πρόσεχε.
7.
Πρόσταγμα. Πρόσεχε.
13 actually for Dobr at the moment. So Centaur here. Dobr having gone for Hermes, while Athena, we are going to see, what's his Zeus? Access to Restoration, so he could have potentially gone for Hermes and been in a very similar spot technologically. Dobr not wanting to, probably not wanting to stick around here because that dock is going to be able to take down that trireme, so he's going to park it here and try and force this other set of fishing boats to garrison now. Really maximise the impact without taking too much damage, because obviously Shadowfax is going to have multiple warship production, and so he's going to be going with that. Doesn't seem to be too concerned that Dobr's got more warships initially than him here. Bearing in mind, as long as you're willing to fight under your dock and you're careful of not losing lose your fishing ships, it can be a fairly big advantage, because the fishing ships, I mean, the dock will now serve as a tower using the fishing ships. Obviously, it does slow down your water eco. You know, Dobr's not having any fishing interrupted at all here. At the same time, the fights will be tough for him. He'll have to back out on both sides, and so Centaur's managed to snipe a villager. And a lot of them are really low, so looks like Shadowfax did well to actually micro them there, but Centaur on the run now, going to be able to escape. Just slightly faster than Jason. So Bolt now being used to try and turn the tide in favour of Shadowfax on this top side, while on the lower side, sorry, and while on the top side, Dobr seems to be winning the fight here, but we're going to be fighting underneath a dock here in a second, so Dobr's trying to focus down the fishing ships, because, I mean, if he can kill them, obviously it's going to be less damage coming out of the dock, and it's just going to interrupt that food eco. Even if he does get forced back, his opponent's got to replace those fishing boats to really get any value. Well, now Shadowfax trying to harass on the land using his Minotaur. Oh, and it will be able to get the Centaur, so Dobr probably should have been a bit faster to micro that one back, so it's a nice catch there for Shadowfax. Picking off some more warships, but over the top side, Dobr seems to have won pretty handily. Well, over on the lower side, the use of Restoration is going to really force Dobr's hand in using Ceasefire to now hold on there, so I guess it'll sort of shoot him in the foot over on this side, potentially. Shadowfax will be able to muster up a lot of warships, an even number to him, and he'll be fighting under his own dock. But over this side, it's handy to really stop that Restoration from spiraling things out of control, because there's a great number of triremes, and I think there's slightly more space in between these two docks. Players just cramming out some warships for the moment. Neither player gonna be able to fit in Heroic Age yet. They've been ramping up that warship count a little bit too heavily. Our player's just going to retreat out of the danger zone, caught in between their opponent's docks. Just remass with the next sets of triremes. So with it all on the line, our player's going to handle it. Dobr just trying to keep everything busy there. He's got Theseus back at home to defend. He's now trying to push on this lower side and the top side. Dobr's, oh, he is going to try and take the engagement here against Shadowfax, but I think Shadowfax actually outnumbers him there on the top side. It's a bit of a Bit of a dive there, and I think he's realised he's overextended there. I think he's just sort of engaged with these guys just to keep Shadowfax busy while he pushes hard over on this side, but it's really meant that Shadowfax can now creep forward here, try and unsettle some gathering. While that's all going on, there is a huge number of ships here. 8 for Shadowfax. Dobr with 13, so he's definitely pulling ahead there, but at the top side, Shadowfax is forcing that water economy to come to a standstill. Somehow, Dobr's managed just to keep tabs on these guys without actually losing the scout. Shadowfax losing a couple more triremes now. So he looks to be winning on the top side. And on the lower side, losing to Dobr. Shadowfax, bigger score now at the moment, so I'm not too sure what that's indicative of. Dobr aging up, Shadowfax aging up. They're both going to Dionysus, so going to have access to basically the same stuff. So I suppose it doesn't matter which of them I actually look at this with, except for Hades if he doesn't have Dionysus, and he doesn't. Well, that makes sense because whoever is shared between two of them, the other one does. The third doesn't have generally. There is. I think there is like 2 exceptions to that rule. I can't remember them off the top of my head, so please do not ask. But Dionysus, access to Hydra, to Bronze, and Bacchanalia, just a nice general all-human unit upgrade. Really big boon. But in saying that, Aphrodite, definitely a solid pick herself. And that'll be either Apollo or Athena that the other one of them has access to, sorry. We'll get back to the game. Won't worry too much about checking the tech tree. That'll be enough of that. That looks like more fishing boats getting caught out here. So one of them getting picked off. Nice catch there for Shadowfax, but the players both going for Scylla. So these guys are basically waterbound Hydra units. We're also going to have a Hydra on the land. It looks like Dobr's caught Shadowfaxes, so a little rough for him. Well, don't exactly know where Dobr's has got to. Got a Scylla there as well. What's he done with his Hydra? Hasn't lost it already, has it? Oh, here he is. It's brought it straight over to try and help out from on the land here if he can. And this could be a nice catch here. Well, the Hydra for Shadowfax taking a bit of a beating. It's still alive though. Massive Scylla versus Scylla. These guys can be very strong against the regular warships and against each other. Hydra slowing things down, but Odysseus is here to save the day, and he is slightly faster than the Hydra. So they will want to evacuate that now. We're just going to try and mop up Jason, so it's good cover defense here by Shadowfax to bring Odysseus. At the same time, will he be able to get this garrison off? Actually, I think he will. That's nicely done. He's taken out a dock there, so it looks like Shadowfax has got water on the top side, but it looks as though Dobr is eager to return the favour and pinch it over at the lower side. Definitely got a lot more on this side of the water. Shadowfax just making sure to reap the benefits of that water eco, try and expand up here, cut down all the travel time, add a bunch of new fishing ships. A pair of heroes getting picked off there, 1 apiece. Both losing their Age 1 melee hero. Or we got Penticonta. Were they always called that? So these are actually... they're good against the Siler and the Siege ships, but they're actually not all that great against Triremes. Well, Triremes, you know, they're actually good against the Hammer ships, and the Hammer ships, yeah, good against Siege ships and Myth units. Or at least slightly better against Myth units. They're not particularly good against Myth units, but they'll do. But I think Shadowfax probably would have preferred to have Siege ships or Triremes there. If not for the if not for that Siler. So I think that's really the only reason why he's opted for it. An Earthquake by Dobr here. He's going to shut down that second town centre of Shadowfax's, but at the same time, just careful to not lose the Chimera versus the Hydra. And against Odysseus. Chimera coming in. Try and take a fight against... oh, it's actually just going to run straight down towards the gold mine. So Dobr returning the favour from game 1, where Shadowfax was using Chimera against gold miners, and now Shadowfax is having to evacuate a shitload of these gold gatherers because there's no safe garrison point here. He's got no tower, no fortress, no town centre for them to just duck into until this guy uses his myth power. It looks like a lot of the army here. Shadowfax has been cleaned up by Dobr. Chimera just running straight into the base. Dobr's decided to keep going for now. So Shadowfax going to get these guys to work building that town centre. He's already taken this other one. Dobr's established his second. And he'll be wanting to try and get on what was always going to be his third town centre. Shadowfax was just keeping the seat warm. I mean, realistically, either of them could go for either centre, town centre, but this one's marginally easier for Shadowfax. This one's marginally easier for Dobr, I think. So Shadowfax is going to be able to get away with that town centre getting built. Chimera going to wipe out the pair of Toxotes and run for its life while Heracles tries to track it down. A bunch of builders here. Or a bunch of gold gatherers, perhaps, sorry, getting stopped once again by Dobr. So Shadowfax seemingly doesn't really have any safe gold tucked away here at all, and I think this is what's really killing him. He can't really try and get the mass up, or try and even, you know, just fort up around a gold mine until he can really transition here. That gate being really handy for him, and saying that he's going to have to try and evacuate those villages somehow and get back on one of these central gold mines. Dobr's doing a good job at controlling all three of them at the moment. And right now, Shadowfax's gold income, where is he gathering gold from? Back here at the lower side, once again, but there's some Chimera in between them and the base. Just keep tabs on that. But Dobr's figured out where a lot of these scattered villages are and slowly chipping away at them, denying another central gold mine. And now he's figured out. I think this might be it, guys. GG. Shadowfax taps out because he knows the Chimera only just going to get that hit off. And from there, he's not going to have what he needs. He's got plenty in the bank, actually, but he's struggling just to try and keep that production up. And it won't be long before he burns through that gold. He still needs to get to Mythical Age while also fielding the army here. And Dobr's just going to be able to keep denying on all four of these gold mines. So it's some great gold control in their final game. GG. Dobr takes the series 2-1.